Hello, and thank you very much for clicking on this presentation to watch. I realize there are so many excellent presentations that are at the conference this year, and I really appreciate you choosing Fruits of Labor. So Fruits of Labor, is I'm going to talk about a body of work that I created about the agricultural migration of my family from Okinawa to Hawaii. My name is Emily Hanako Momohara, and I'm an artist, I'm a professor, and I am chair of studio arts at the Art Academy of Cincinnati. I will actually be moving to a new position starting August 1st at MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, where I will also be have a chair position there of media arts and animation. So a little bit of a transition, a migration for myself as well. And before I get started, I just want to thank the organizers of New Directions in the Humanities for having me. It's really an honor to be here amongst so many amazing people who are doing research in a variety of different, really underrepresented bodies of research. So, also before we get started, I want to just give you a little bit of information about myself. So this is me and my obaban. My great-grandparents came to Hanapepe, Hawaii, on the island of Kauai in 1914. And this is a picture of my great-grandmother and myself at their home. They became pineapple plantation workers, and they lived in the Okinawan camp where the Okinawan laborers were given to work, had shacks. Now this house is actually a historic landmark, so it's pretty interesting. You can see it as is with the bathroom outside even, and I still have family members that live in this home. So when I was thinking about kind of learning about the experiences of my family, I started to research what it was like to live on the plantations, what the working conditions were like, and it led me to think about ideas of labor and who benefits, and how are the people who labor represented as opposed to the folks who are consumers. I found this image on eBay. It is from a magazine that I don't actually know where it came from. It's an advertisement, but it's from Hawaiian pine, and I know that my family worked at Kauai pine. But this is how the labor was represented, right? We have this beautiful woman who is wearing a Hawaiian outfit, right, quote unquote, who is handing this product over to a white couple having a very nice dinner with a white tablecloth, right, on the mainland. So this idea that, you get this authentic product from this exotic place and the exotic people who are making it. And it really, it just kind of exemplifies some of the things that even today, as a AAPI woman, having to navigate, it really shows that structure and that history. So the work that I made for this Fruits of Labor body of work talks about that past and present migrant labor, of stereotypes, of the consumers, and about immigration and migration. So the first piece I'm going to show you is called Golden Glove, and it's a stereograph. The stereograph itself, the little wooden and metal machine, is an antique, and it's similar to, like a VR headset that you would put on, except for, it was created in the 1800s, and it was for entertainment. So you could go on vacation somewhere, and then you could buy a stereograph card and you'd bring it back, and your friends would come over and you would all look at it, and you would hold it up to your eyes, and it would actually make the image kind of three-dimensional. So I took this work glove and painted it with gold lacquer. And so we have this, golden worker's glove raised in a fist, of course. And this really made this kind of encapsulates what I was thinking about from the relationship that I have from that past plantation workers, like my great-grandparents, like Obaban, and what I see happening today with migrant workers. Value is at the core. There are 3 points. Value, whether or not we value that labor that is happening. We tend to look back on our ancestors and value what they did, their sacrifices that they made, the greater good, not only feeding the country, but bringing their families to a place where we could thrive. Of course, today we think about the migrant worker as having to hide to be invisible, right? So visibility is another thing. Because we don't value migrant workers today, they have to be invisible. That is not the case with how we think about our ancestors who were migrant workers. And then, of course, the third point is the hostility, right? There's so much hostility right now, both from our government and from private citizens towards migrant workers, that mimics what happened also to the migrant workers in their when they were actually laborers. We certainly do not carry that hostility, though, of our ancestors into the present. Those of you who are art historians or just art lovers, you might know The Semiotics of the Kitchen by Martha Rosler. This is called Semiotics of a Pineapple Upside Down Cake, and it is definitely an ode to her. Here we have, and I'm just going to play a snippet of this in the background while I talk about it. The video is actually 10 minutes long. However, we're not going to do the whole thing here. But we have a kind of white presenting woman who is making a pineapple upside down cake. She has all of her ingredients, she has her cookbook. Then we have the migrant workers who are behind the woman, or literally inside her, right? All of the things that had to happen, all the labor to get that pineapple to the mainland is inside this woman. So during the video, it was important for me to actually have those historic juxtapositions with this current video. This could be a person today making this pineapple upside down cake. It could be a person back in the 1920s making a pineapple upside down cake. So the next piece I'm going to share with you is called In Transit, and this is a pretty large piece. It could be up to about 25 feet along the wall. It has a whole bunch of different pieces in it. You can see 14 different pieces, and it's really talking about the Hawaii mainland trade of exotic fruits that migrant laborers picked. So if we were in the gallery and you were walking along the wall here, you would first come up to this grouping of imagery, which kind of represents Kauai. And we have in the middle of it a working clock, which talks about the time that folks had to get up to take care of their families, the long work day, and then the time that they had to feed their families, do laundry, and then go to bed. I intentionally use the gold lacquer on all of these pieces to really try to uplift those experiences. So the waking hours are gold. The trowel on the left side of this grouping is actually, I did gold leaf this trowel in order to photograph it. So, thinking about the value, again, that we place onto that labor. And then there's some historic images. And then I have a little anecdotal story about the can. So my grandparents, so they were born in the United States. My grandmother in Seattle and my grandfather in Hanapepe. And when they got married, they decided to go back to Hawaii. This was at the end of World War II. They thought it would be a little bit easier to live on the islands than to live on the mainland. And so they got jobs at a Dole pineapple factory in Oahu. And my grandmother made it until the lunch. And then when she met my grandpa for lunch, she said, I don't want to do this. The city girl in her was not a farmer, which is kind of funny. So I wanted to kind of give a nod to that. On the label of this can here that I have is a couple of ladies who are working in the factory, and they are doing some canning there. So it's a little nod to my grandmother. And then if you continue walking along, you will see that it's kind of the coast, right? The West Coast, the East Coast. This is where the consumption happens. So we have, the little kid and advertisement with the pineapple juice. We have, of course, the pina colada, the cocktail, right? This luxury that is sweet and tasty. Jello molds. I mean, the pineapple Jello mold is iconic, right? So thinking about the ways in which we thought of pineapple being this treat, this kind of exotic fruit that we could consume. It was a status symbol as well, right? Like you could afford to buy this exotic fruit. So if we look at the whole thing again, we see that there is this map, very kind of similar to the advertisement that I showed you at the beginning of the talk, where the Hawaiian woman was passing the juice to the mainland couple, right? We have the Panama Canal here so that we can see where that route is that the pine would go to the East Coast. And as you experience the piece, though, you're literally walking alongside it. So you are going on that journey yourself. The next piece I'm going to show you is called Red Soil. And this was fun. This was a collaboration of sorts. Kauai, if you've ever been to Kauai, you'll know that they are known for red dirt. You can buy red dirt shirts that are dyed with red dirt. It is kind of an iconic thing on the island. So I asked my family to send me pictures of their hands with dirt. So I have little kids, adults, our elders. They all sent me these pictures, and I was able to create this kind of land form. On the left here is a detail that has all of their hands holding this dirt. I just asked them to rub it on their hands and take a picture for me. And so that literally is made from my family's hands, right? The labor involved in that, of representing the island through people, through the mountain, through landscape. And the image that's on the advertisement for this talk, this is called Laborer, and it's actually a self-portrait. It's an image of me carrying 3 bags of pineapple. I am a 4th generation American, so I am holding the 3 generations bags, right? It's kind of talking about legacy, also relating not only to the past, so legacy of my family, but also legacy of what's happening today in our country with migrant workers, especially agricultural workers. So I am mixed, and I'm always racially ambiguous for people that feel the need to know what my genetic makeup is. But what is interesting is from behind, with me holding these bags, you can't tell if I am a Filipino worker in Dole's Island that is part of the Philippines right now, where they have an entire island where most of their pineapple is grown. Can't tell if that's a Filipino person. You cannot tell if I'm a Latinx person who is working on a farm that is within the United States or its territories. Because of this kind of brown skin, black hair, there is a tie, a lineage, there's a legacy between all of us of this kind of migrant farm worker that continues to this day. Here is an image of the laborer behind two more stereographs. So this stereograph is actually the pineapple upside down cake, so you could use that as a form of entertainment, right? And then also next to that is an image that I found at the Library of Congress. It is a stereograph card of someone actually in the fields working, picking pine. And I was able to print that, and it works. You can put that in a stereograph and also see that as entertainment. I'm going to let this video run while I talk about it as well. As I was researching pineapple and how it came to the Hawaii Islands, I found that, of course, it's not an indigenous plant, but it is from the Caribbean, and sailors used to bring it home with them to the mainland of the U.S., and it became this symbol of welcome. If there was a pineapple sitting on the porch of someone's home, you knew that the man of the house was home, and he was open for visitors, so you could go see them. And that's how this pineapple motif for welcome mats, you see it on banisters leading into homes as well. That's where that comes from, and I thought that was very interesting. And of course, it's the man of the house's home, not the other people of the house. But so I went and I found all these different mats, and as you walked into the gallery where this work was first displayed, it was hanging from the ceiling, so it was projected down in front of you, and you had to walk over this projection, right, that then was welcoming you, right, that to the gallery. So the next piece I'm going to show you is called 1910-2010 Census. And it is a collection of 200 pieces, and they are all pineapple, made out of a pineapple jello mold. Got a little close-up of this here. It is the same jello mold that I used to create the jello for the In Transit piece, one of the images in that piece. But so this is created because I wanted to show that difference in value from the way we look at the past to how we view current migrant and immigrant workers. So on the left is statistics. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is statistics from the 1910 census. In 1910, 14% of the people who filled out the census were born in another country. And so we have 14 of those pineapples in gold lacquer, and then the rest of them are in a white lacquer. On the right, we have the 2010 census, and we have 87 white lacquer pineapples, and then on the bottom, I have 13, I hope that you can see them good enough here, but I have 13 pineapples that are actually just plastic shells, so of the pineapple. And I really wanted to make it so they were almost invisible, which is why you can't see them very well. Because of that value, we don't see the value in today's current migrants. We have a government and everyday people who have demonized those who are coming to pick our crops and to feed our nation. So I really wanted to show those juxtaposed together. I wanted to use the hierarchy of the gold and the plastic, as well as the visuals of one on top and one on the bottom, and really have something that is monumental. So, each of those were about 11 inches. So if you can imagine how tall this is, and you have to walk up to this massive kind of amount of people, it's really hard to quantify something so large, right? So wanting to show an entire wall of this to kind of have us feel a little humble in our humanity. That is everything that I have for you, and I hope that you enjoyed the talk. Please feel free to add any comments or questions on the website here, and I would be happy to get into any discussion or answer any questions for you. Thank you very much.